you're planning to visit the gorgeous country, Nepal, this is the video you need to watch all the way to the end because I'm going to give you 10 tips that you need to know before you hop on a flight to Nepal. Without further ado, let's dive right into it. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel Just Go with Amreen. After being on a break from YouTube for a month, I am back. This was my first break from YouTube since I started my channel 2 years ago. So I am back with fresh new content, feeling inspired and ready to mesmerize. Let's go. This video is going to talk about the 10 tips that you need to know before you book your flights to Nepal. So if you're interested in visiting this country, watch this video all the way to the end because you're gonna need it. Yes, I am in Nepal and I have unfortunately come to the end and the last leg of my trip. You will be seeing my entire journey in the upcoming weeks, but I wanted to post this video first in case you are planning to visit Nepal at this moment. So the best time to visit Nepal is basically from November to March. The weather is very cool, pleasant. This is the best month to visit Nepal. I am visiting Nepal in the month of March. So the first tip is the most obvious one, something that everybody needs to know today before they plan their trip to any country. COVID rules. So Nepal is allowing vaccinated passengers without any quarantine. If you're not vaccinated, unfortunately, you need to quarantine for a limited number of days. You also need to take a PCR test before you fly to Nepal within the last 48 hours of taking the flight. It is as simple as that. As for any rules within the country during your stay, there aren't any. The bars and stuff, the nightlife, they shut down by midnight. Unfortunately, everything is open, no need for masks. People don't even wear masks inside, although the staff wears masks. Point number 2, if you are planning to visit Nepal in the month of March, it is a lot warmer than AccuWeather tells you. Unfortunately, whatever AccuWeather said was not accurate at all. AccuWeather told me that it's going to be about 26 degrees or so in the afternoon, which was true, but it was a lot warmer, and in the evenings it's 14. It's not 14, my friend. It's not 14 at all. It's probably 20. Some parts of Nepal are really warm right now. For example, if you plan to visit Chitwan, it was like 35 degrees, 39 degrees. I come from 39 degrees. I'm sorry. So I did not visit Chitwan. Now, why I'm talking about temperatures? Because you need to decide how you will pack, how much you will pack. If you come in March, you can pack light. Shorts and t-shirts is all you need unless you have plans to go trekking, river rafting or visit a yoga retreat. Then you obviously need to pack according to that as well. Point number 3, fuel is expensive. It's gone through the roof. Nepal is not expensive. And even I am saying fuel is expensive, it's only if you are planning to take private car transportation to move from one town to another. Yes, it's going to cost you a little bit just for that transportation. I think our overall cost of transportation without domestic flights was approximately $150 to $200 in totality, and this includes like everything, like airport transfers, going from one place to another, going to domestic airport, going to the city center, going to sightsee, everything. It includes all transportation by car, private car transportation that we took. We did not approach a company for a car. We generally took cabs, but yeah, this is how it's priced now. That brings me to point number 4. If you're planning to take flights to go from one town to another, then A, it is pricier than taking a car, and B, you have to keep a buffer for delays. Kathmandu to Pokhara, luckily there were no delays and we were on time, everything went smoothly. But when we came back from Pokhara to Kathmandu, the flight was delayed almost 90 minutes and that like screwed up our entire plan because we were supposed to reach our hotel by 3 p.m, then go sightseeing Kathmandu and all that kind of fun stuff, but that didn't happen. We got to Kathmandu by 4 p.m, then we got to our hotel, we ate lunch at 5, so well, sightseeing went out the window. And if you have very limited time like we did, then your plans will really get screwed. So keep that in mind. More often than not, flights within Nepal are going to be delayed. If you opt for the car transportation, then you have to keep in mind that you have to keep at least half or sometimes full day for your travel because either it takes minimum 2 to 3 hours to get from one town to another, or it takes 7 to 8 hours. Point is that the roads are not great and insane amount of traffic. So you have to factor all these things in if you are planning to go by road. It is a cheaper option, but it is a more time consuming option. And it's a much more tiring option, in my opinion. Point number 5. This time when we came to Nepal, we lived in several places, small towns. We really explored the outskirts of Kathmandu Valley. We went a little away from Pokhara as well. We did a yoga retreat there. So what I'm trying to say is that if you are moving away from the main cities, which is Kathmandu and Pokhara, which are far more developed, your stay will be very basic. Just don't expect 5-star hotel standards. Outside of these cities, you may not get them. The rooms will be very basic. The toilets will be very basic. It's very important for you to see the pictures of the accommodations before you go to these cities and live in these places, because there could be a chance that the toilets are the Indian style. What I mean is squatty potty ones. So if that's uncomfortable for you, then yeah, you gotta know that before you book it. Even though I say that you cannot expect 5-star hotel standards, you can expect a very clean room, you can expect excellent food, you can expect great hospitality. This brings me to my next point: food. Be prepared to eat their local cuisine most of the times, 90% of the times. Now let me just be clear, Nepali food is, oh my god, yum. I think that was one of the things that pulled me and my husband back to this country, because the food is just divine. But if you are from the West, then you are used to having bland food, that might be a little bit of a struggle here, because their food is obviously like a little bit on the Indian lines. They have their own tastes and flavors, of course. If you are not used to eating spicy food and things like that, you might face a little bit of a challenge, but their food is absolutely divine. You will find continental options everywhere you go. All the restaurants you visit, all the bars you go, you will come across continental food in their menus, but not many can do it right. My next point should have been my very first one, to be honest, because I faced such an issue with money in Nepal. Please, wherever it is that you're flying from, call your bank, tell them you're going to Nepal, make sure your cards are working in this country. Mine didn't. I withdrew a few dollars from an ATM in Dubai at the airport, and I got here. I come to Nepal and my card doesn't work. My card doesn't work in an ATM. My card doesn't work online on a Nepali site. It does not work in restaurants, 5-star hotels. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And I honestly, if I didn't have my husband with me, I would have been stuck and stranded, because I landed here on a Friday, and Saturday, Sunday, Dubai is closed, banks are closed. I couldn't reach anyone. I couldn't even get my card working. So my card didn't work, but my husband's card worked. So thankfully, he could withdraw money from ATMs in Nepal, and and so we survived. If that wasn't the case, he wasn't with me, if I was going solo and I did not call my bank, which I didn't, then I would be stranded, stuck without any money. Talking about cash, that brings me to my next tip. If you are planning to pay everything with card, that's not possible because a lot of places only take cash. But if you do plan on paying your hotel, for example, some restaurants who take card, you're planning on paying by card, they will charge you an extra 5% over the bill. That's one. If you are not planning to pay by card but withdraw money from the ATM, there is a restriction on that as well. One, you can only withdraw about 20,000 every single time. That's the maximum limit. You can withdraw 20,000 from an ATM. And the second problem is you will be charged 500 Nepali rupees transaction fee every single time you withdraw 20 grand. 20 grand will, by the way, last you maybe 2 days. If you are really careful with your money, maybe 3. But in our case, 2 to 3 days, 20 grand lasted for us. And 500 Nepali rupees that the ATM eats due to transactions and withdrawals and all that, that 500 rupees is equivalent to a beer or a Nepali thali, like a main course. So you understand, like every single time you're withdrawing money, you're throwing away one main course. Continuing the train of thought about withdrawing and cash and payments and things like that, tipping is quite common in countries like this, but you have to see your bill. watch for taxes. They are insane. Some local bars and pubs and restaurants, they don't charge tax or anything. Maybe they're like 10% tax, whatever the minimum is basically. But some places, a lot of places we went to, they charge you 23% tax. 23% tax. I come from a land which has no tax. And you can imagine how I feel. Like when I see a price, a Nepali thali costs like 450 Nepali rupees. I'm like, okay, that's fine. And then the bill comes, boom, 23% tax over 450. I'm like, what? Yeah, people from Dubai, we're really spoiled when it comes to taxes. So watch your bill. If it has the 10% service tax or whatever, then you don't need to necessarily tip. You could, of course. No problem, we did, but you don't have to. It's not mandatory. I've been making notes throughout my journey so that I can tell you everything that I have learned from my experience, so that you don't make those mistakes, or you just be a little more prepared as opposed to I wasn't. This is my last tip for you. Baggage, especially if you are taking domestic flights. If you're not taking domestic flights, this tip does not apply to you. But if you are taking domestic flights, then watch how much you pack, how many kgs. If you pack light, then again this tip does not apply to you, but it applies to people like me. We took Fly Dubai international flights. Dubai to Nepal, we got 40 kgs per person. Wow! 40 kgs per person baggage allowance, and to go back we have 30 kgs per person baggage allowance. However, when we took our flight from Kathmandu to Pokhara through Buddha Airlines, they gave us merely 15 kgs per person. So we obviously left some of our baggage behind in the hotel in Kathmandu. That's how we even managed 30 kgs together. But when we came back from Pokhara, we took another airline, which was Yeti Airlines, and they allowed us 20 kgs per person, which is still reasonable. Just keep that in mind, how much you can pack, because your domestic flight baggage allowance might not be that much. Bonus tip, yes! I love this tip. I love this tip because this was something I found out on my first day. First day I landed in Kathmandu. I had to book my flights to Pokhara. I had plans to fly to Pokhara the very next day. So I took a one-way ticket and I booked my flights to Pokhara from Kathmandu in Nepal. I did not book them in Dubai. I will tell you why. This is going to blow your mind. There is a website in Nepal called flyhanuman.com. I will leave the link to it down below. It's like the sky scanner of Nepali airlines here. So basically you can plug in your nationality, your date, your to and from and all that, and it will give you a list of all the airlines with the various timings to go to that particular destination. And the prices are mentioned in Nepali rupees. When I was looking on Skyscanner to book my flights, domestic flights within Nepal to go from Kathmandu to Pokhara, return flights, it was costing me for two people 1,000 dirhams. And when I got here, I booked only one way. I didn't even book a return. That would have costed me a lot less. And collectively, for both of us, that costed me 400 dirhams, which was costing me 1,000 in Dubai if I was booking it as opposed to Fly Hanuman. If you're planning to visit Nepal, let me know in the comment section below. When are you planning to visit Nepal? Because I am excited for you already. And anything that you want to know from me, I am happy to help. If you like this video and you found this helpful, give me a big fat thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hit that bell icon so that you don't miss any of my upcoming Nepali videos. I will see you guys next week. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy. Bye guys. Cheers. What is my last tip for you? Yeah, the gorgeous country, Nepal. My hair is amazing. Okay. Take flights from going to... So here's a video. So this is a video. So without further ado,